Alright, so Dehya's been out for a pretty good amount of time, to the point where the honeymoon phase is basically, washing over, or people are using their copium and the reserves are very low for a lot of these people. But let me preface this one thing before the video starts, is that if you are enjoying Dehya or you like Dehya as a character, this is not to attack or anything in that regard when using the character. I've made a complete guide and also a Spiral Abyss run with Dehya as the main DPS, 36 starring it, so you can say I have my fair share of, videos where I'm trying to make Dehya work. I've also even C6 my Bennett just to make, Dehya even better. So I've done a lot of things to make Dehya work, and I do enjoy Dehya's design, character, all that type of stuff. So don't take this video as any type of negativity towards her, but I do want to talk about the reasons why they probably made Dehya this way. And I feel like there's a couple reasons why HOYOverse made her as weak as she is right now. Not saying that is justified, because of course Dehya as a 5-star character, even if she's getting put in the standard banner, should be a really good unit, or should be a decent enough unit to be able to play without so many problems that a lot of creators, a lot of people have found out about her kit, her burst, her skill, her her canceling her burst when she jumps. There's a lot of issues going around with Dehya, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of reasons why they made it this way, and we're going to be talking about it in this video. But before we get into that, make sure to sub and like as well. Other than that, let's get straight into the video, because you already know that type of stuff. But Dehya as a 5-star pyro, sub DPS, support, DPS, whatever you want to call her, she has a lot of things that she can do. She's a jack of all trades but a master at none, basically. She, for the most part, is more used for her skill, which is going to give you that resistance to interruption and also gives you pyro application by a slow amount. Now you can compare this to Thoma, but it all stems from the 4-star Xiangling, where she is the premier, the best pyro applicator in the game. Hits super hard, no ICD on her ult. The burst cost is 80, but overall it's worth it with how much she gains from having Emblem of Severed Fate, energy recharge centered artifact set for her burst, and she also, like I said, hits really hard, no ICD on the burst. One of the best power applicators in the game, lasting a good amount of time. Overall, Xiangling is one of the best power applicators, and this is a really good reason why Dehya probably has a slower one, and so does Thoma, because they don't want another Xiangling. A lot of these OG 4-stars that come out during the release of Genshin, such as Xingqiu, Xiangling, Sucrose, Fischl, Bennett, all these characters are absolutely busted and are still some of the best 4-stars in this game at this current moment. And it's because the game just came out and they were basically making their initial kits, not knowing how busted they were going to be down the long run. And all these characters ended up being the best of the best, and Dehya took a hit because of that. Xiangling is the best pyro applicator, and they're probably not going to make another pyro applicator as good as Xiangling because of the reactions that we have now and how busted they could be with a better Xiangling. Think about Melt, think about Vaporize, think about Burgeon. All of these these pyro centered reactions are a lot better than the other actions in the game, and they can provide some crazy damage when paired up with the right characters. The only problem with Dehya, being the 5-star pyro applicator, is that they're not going to make it as good as Xiangling as what we know right now for the foreseeable future, because Xiangling is just so strong. Maybe in the future when, other characters come out to synergize with Dehya, or when they need a slower rate of pyro to be able to work with Dehya. It's just not going to happen at the moment. And the fact that she is also a standard 5-star. Now, I do think that her constellations were made knowing she was going to be a standard 5-star. I think, to be honest, I do think that they intended Dehya to be a standard 5-star all along, just because so much of her kit is locked behind constellations. I do think her constellations were made knowing Dehya would end up being on the standard banner, and she would end up being better as time goes on, because players would lose their 50/50s. They would summon on premier banners or promotional banners or the standard banner, get Dehya, and they will get constellations. I don't think these constellations are centered around you getting her from a promotional banner, I guess you could wait in a sense, because there's so much of her kit locked behind these constellations. With C1 helping her split scaling with her max HP being part of her damage a little bit more. Her C2 extending her field time, which is something that's really busted, making it so that you have 100% uptime on her field. Her C4 giving her energy recharge, and well, not energy recharge, but energy, and also hit for a little more on her max HP. Oh no, it restores max HP, so she's basically healing herself. And then C6 being, extending the duration of her ult, giving you crit hit rate and crit damage So I do think 100% that her constellations were made at the point of you getting them. So you summoning her on promotional banners or the standard banner, losing to 50-50 to her. I do think her constellations were built in that way. Her weapon, not so much. I do think her weapon is a little bit odd to the point where they had to release Dehya. So they had to make a claymore that was worth summoning for. They couldn't have made a really weird, bad claymore because then no one was summoned on it. Because, there's not that many out in the game. And if there was just another bad claymore, that'd make no sense. But this also goes with the problem that we don't know where this weapon's going to go after her banner. Because the Hunter's Path for Tighnari is also missing at the moment, where it hasn't rerun at all. And I don't see a time where it's going to rerun because of so many characters and their signature weapons have their own weapon banner. I don't know where the Hunter's Path is going to go, and we don't know where the Beacon of the Reed Sea is going to go either. So yeah, basically Dehya's problems stem from the initial problems that HOYOverse has created for themselves, I guess you could say. Not the standard banner version of it, because I do think that was intended. You would get these constellations as time goes on. They would become a more stronger character, feels like a more complete character as you lose 50-50s to her and get her through the standard banner. While her kit itself, like I said again, her being Xiangling's counterpart in a way, because she is supposed to be a slow pyro applicator alongside with Thoma and Dehya. Those two are slower rate of pyro because of how strong Xiangling is. I do think that Xiangling is basically ruining it for a lot of these sub DPS type characters, because it's just apparent, right? It's like Xiangling is 100% the best pyro applicator in the game at the moment, and with her being out, Dehya has suffered, Thoma has suffered. There's been a bunch of different characters that have dealt with the Xiangling incident, I guess you could say, because it's just so strong. They don't want Dehya to be that. I think if they did have Xiangling as a slower or worse pyro applicator, or she wasn't as strong as she was, possibly Dehya could have been that Xiangling. She could have been the best pyro applicator in the game. But the fact that Xiangling's existent is probably a reason why they don't want to have another sub DPS as strong as Xiangling, and especially it applies as much pyro compared to Xiangling. Dehya just would have been too strong at that point. She would have been a crazy promotional 5-star that everybody would have summoned on if the more complete aspects of her kit through her constellations were a base kit. So I do think it sucks that HOYOverse has gotten it intended for people to get her through the standard banner, or intended the constellations to be locked through the standard banner or losing the 50-50, because a lot of these constellations are really kit changing or life changing to Dehya, just because of how complete they make her kit. Especially when you get to like C2, it really makes her kit a lot better, just because you're going to be doing more damage. Her field's going to be up for longer, so the power application is going to stay there. The C4 is going to help you with energy and HP, and then the C6 is just making her overall crazy DPS character, rivaling Hu Tao and these other pyro DPSs in the future. So it sucks that they've done this to Dehya. Hopefully in the future, which is we don't know for sure what happens, maybe in Fontaine, maybe in upcoming patches, but whenever they release new artifact sets or new characters, maybe they'll go along with Dehya. Maybe this is something to look forward to in the future. But as of now, I understand why a lot of people are frustrated, because so am I. I was really excited for Dehya. I'm still going to make her work, but the longer you play with Dehya, and you can still like Dehya, which I do, but the longer you play with Dehya, you can see that you could easily replace her with a lot of different units and clear things faster, clear things more easier, clear things more efficiently, clear things more smoother. It's just sad to see that Dehya isn't a real functioning character, I guess you could say, to the point where you could feel like it's a hindrance to your teams or hindrance to your clear time in certain bosses, domains, the Spiral Abyss. She is capable of being decent under the right team, or brute forcing your way to make her work. But you could feel that you're having to put that extra effort in to make her work. So although I like Dehya, I do see the problems, and it sucks that there are problems with this character. But other than that, that's going to be it for this video. Let me know what you think about Dehya. Let me know if you saw something for her weapon. If you're getting excited for Baizhu and Kaveh, because I'm really excited to cover about them. And we're going to be covering Shenhe and Ayaka very soon, because their rerun banners are long awaited, and a lot of people are waiting for them, and those are two characters I've been using forever. So other than that, thank you guys so much for watching all the way to the end. See you on the next one, and peace.